So let's read what this is. This is, unfortunately, his first name is Adolf, and his last name is Whitman, and he's German. I I can't I can't get around it. It just is what it is. I'm really sorry, but it just is. He's Adolf Whitman and he's German. And so these are news articles that were taken from the 1900s. I think this picture comes from it comes from 1914 from the Fort Wayne Sentinel. And let's just read this one, but we're going to talk about, kind of what's going on here. But have a look at this. So apparently this guy created a robot. All right? It was an autonomous machine, and you can see it's got gears and all kinds of stuff and levers and everything. So this is it's a real picture, and he claimed a bunch of wild stuff that we're going to read. And as we read through this, I just want you to consider if there's any overlap between the messaging in this article with this guy in 1914 and stuff we hear today. All right. So let's read this. I'm going to read this one. Now, this particular page has a few articles, a few newspaper clippings about this man, but we won't read them all. If you're interested, you can go on there and read about them. We're just going to read the one that I think taps most into, holy crap, people were talking about it in the early 1900s with robots like this. Let's get into it. Here he is, the complete man-made man who does just about everything. Inventor of the bonesless, yes, bonesless, I didn't read that wrong, it's bonesless, bloodless, fleshless man who sees ahead when cogwheel man will do all work for living people and even do their fighting. Berlin, June 20th. Quote, I hold the world in the palm of my hand. I could be emperor of the universe. I could make the terrestrial globe my personal property. For I've invented an artificial man who could compel all other men to become my slaves. So says Herr Adolf Whitman, famous Berlin inventor. He has constructed of wheels and chains and levers an artificial man who walks, talks, mingles with the crowd just as naturally as any real man would. This machine man is the outcome of many years' laborious and painstaking application of Whitman's wonderful, inventive genius. He calls his mechanical man occultus. Occultus obeys my every order, says Whitman, whether I tell him to run, to turn, to stop, to lift something, to sit down, to sing, whistle, or answer question. He obeys implicitly and without hesitation. I could walk him into a crowded parlor, and he would act so naturally that half the evening might pass before the guests realize that they had a mysterious and occult person among them. The secret of making my artificial men is simple. I shall soon be able to construct them by the hundreds in special factories. Just imagine what I can do when I begin to turn these mechanical men out by the wholesale. I could organize them into a vast army and train it to an automatic perfection in military tactics. Then, armed with the most destructive weapons of modern warfare, my hordes of non-killable soldiers could set forth to conquer the continents. I could sweep the face of Europe clean in one campaign. Words I can't say because of terms of service, my armies would be impervious to them all. Faster than my men fell, I could turn out new ones in my factories. Whitman could man great navies with his machine men and send them forth through all the seas and subdue all the nations. Shortly, he would be emperor of the world. Or he could get control of the whole earth in another way, by purchase. For since all wealth is based on human industry, by controlling the inexhaustible industry of the machine men, he could become the wealthiest man in the world. All the earth's riches he could monopolize, and all production would be carried on in his factories filled with mechanical men. Imagine what the new world then would be, humming with every known form of life and industry, and yet made up of only dead machinery. There would not be a ray nor smile of true life on all the globe, yet it would be covered with whirring, clanking, never-stopping mechanism. The telegraphs, with mechanical men at their sounders, would continue to speak across the continents. Huge vessels would ply the seas, carrying freight and artificial passengers from port to port. Great areas would be built up into cities of towering skyscrapers whose streets would throng with machine men, tramping back and forth in the multitudinous affairs of their life, and in vast factories they would be continually turning out new mechanical men by the wholesale. There is nothing that a civilization of such men could not accomplish, for they would fear none of the chief obstacles of modern industry: disease, suffering, and death. But of course, I shan't attempt to bring about any such destruction of humanity. That's a quote. Instead, I hope in time to perfect my machine men so as to make them a great boon to humanity. Says Whitman. In time, his machine men could be made into a race of slaves, supporting in case all natural mankind. Each human being would have as many servants as he liked. No one need to do a stroke of work other than give orders to his mechanical serfs. Every bit of mining, manufacturing, all the dangerous and disagreeable labors of civilization would be turned over, and the unfeeling machine men, and we humans would live in ideal luxury. It would be the realization of the millennium. Can anybody think of anything similar that anybody has said in recent history? Have these messages from the... Let me go back here because I just needed to pull something up. Have these messages that this man, right here, all the stuff that I just read. Yeah. Tesla wants to build... There you go. Tesla wants to build a robot army. That's right. Oh, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it, John Castle. I do appreciate that. Yeah. Elon Musk wants to create the Optimus army. Interesting. Occultus, Optimus.